Right. Well, this is a Varney. He needs to be in there. Just the Varneys?
That'd be great.
I wonder how we could do that. We better do that while we're having
I'm so used to that one.
Moving my jaws. The whole lot. It must be in the car.
Can I run that for you, Jerry?
It'll go ball by itself.
Can I stick across?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Is it going?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Marcella Varney Allen. This is my husband, Gerald Allen. This is our son, oldest son, Gerald Allen. We call him Jerry. And this is his lovely wife, Kathy.
Hi.
And this is our youngest son, Richard. We all live in Portland, Oregon. And the way our family tree goes back is to Lloyd Varney, who is Martha Stark Varney's youngest son. His father was killed before he was born, and they came out from Neilsville to North Dakota at Rain when he was 6 years old with his older brothers and sisters and his mother. I don't know how much more you want to know. Is that enough? Pretty good. That's good? Yeah.
That's real good.
Okay, let's move out of here, Rick.
Okay.
I am Dale, the son of Cora Bremsit, and she was a Weed, which originally went back to Stark, and her mother and Aunt Martha were sisters. So, and I live at Glenville, Minnesota, just south of Albert Lee. That's all you want to know.
Okay.
Bremsit Ingle. My mother was Cora Weed Stark. That's it. Come on, we'll all get together. We're all brothers. They got me.
Why'd you send me a balloon? You wanted me to see, okay.
I'm Lavon Francis Spurgeon, and I'm a daughter of Cora Weed.
I'm Cora Weed's youngest daughter, Ovidia, and this is my husband Everett, and we live at Wyckoff, and we're related, of course, to the Starks again.
I'm Eva Sorensen. I'm daughter of Cora Weed Stark. And that's my husband running the camera, so he looks good over there.
Shut it off.
Hey, tell them where we were from.
I'm Richard Bremsit, son of Cora Weed Stark. She was a related to Stark, so through the Varneys and all that. I live at Rochester, Minnesota.
Okay.
And I'm Martha Bogan, daughter of Cora Weed Stark. And I live in Rochester, Minnesota.
I'm Jim Johnson. I'm just a friend of the Weed Bremsit family.
He's
You're not a friend, you're part of it. I'm Dolores Gardner, and this is my husband Patrick, and we're from Illinois, and I'm related to Richard Bremsit, which is Cora Weed's daughter. The rest of them too are related.
I'm not sad.
I think you were just...
I didn't think we were related.
You're the one putting that cheese.
I'm here representing Earl and Clara Varney. I'm their daughter Dolores from the Great Lakes state of Michigan. And this is my daughter Connie. She's from Escanaba, Michigan. And I live in Foster City, Michigan.
She's afraid of heights.
You know, we're
I'm
walking
a
the
friend
river.
of Ethel Varney, and I was a friend of her son Merle, who passed away 4 years ago. And I took care of Merle for 10 years. He had emphysema and oxygen for over a year. And his brother Ellery passed away 6 years ago, and he lived in St. Paul, Minnesota. And Ethel passed away in August 24th of 1982, and her husband, Marvin, passed away in June 11th, 1979. I don't know if there's anything else you want to know.
That was great. It's nice. That was great. We're so glad you came.
Yeah.
Stand right here. Okay.
I
Alan Varney, and I'm the son of Laverne Varney, who is the son of Earl Varney and Clara Varney. We live in Kankakee, Illinois, and can I introduce you?
No.
This is my wife, Sally.
Is that it? Yes.
Oh no, he doesn't.
I'm George Varney, oldest boy of Lloyd Varney. This is my wife Gladys.
Where are you from?
Eugene, Oregon.
Right.
That's sister.
Okay, that's what. Why don't you mention your other brothers and sisters?
Oh, there was 6 kids in our family. Marcella, Thelma, myself, Dick, Clark, and Dwayne. And Dwayne should be here today, if not, maybe tomorrow.
Great.
Thank you.
I'm out. I have 11 sisters. I have 10 left, and I had 5 brothers, and I have 2 left, but there were 17 in the family.
Wow.
Good sized family there.
No, they're
Right.
not.
Thank you.
My name is Clayton Sorensen, I'm from Wausau, Minnesota.
As far as I know,
Listen a minute. This is my youngest brother, Dwayne Varney, come from Lloyd and Sylvia Varney. And this is my brother George, and my name is Marcella. He came from Eagle Butte, South Dakota, and he has a friend that he brought along.
Move your cameras over there.
And I guess that's about it. We haven't seen Dwayne for a long, long time, so we're very happy he came here. We're the oldest and the youngest, and the middle one here had to tag along. But we've been a really close family for years, but distance keeps us a long ways apart. So.
Excuse me, you didn't tell what his friend's name was, so she
Henrietta.
wanted that on camera.
Yeah, I did, didn't I?
Okay, look at the birdie over here.
What you got?
Thank you.
What did you find?
You know, everybody, we were the renegades. It kind of takes us back to the beginning.
Well,
One day. But it's all now.
All right, you've hogged the show long enough. Get out of there, sir.
We're here.
just so we get all of
Oh,
you.
I guess.
All right, behind
This is the Kruger family that made this all possible. And now they're going to introduce themselves.
Thank you. All right.
That helped. That gave us a real send-off. I am John Varney's youngest daughter. And John was about 4th youngest of the boys. You know, there were some girls staggered in there. I have 4 sisters that will be here tomorrow, and they'll be introducing themselves. But this is my husband, Kermit. Our oldest son, Kelly, and his fiancée. Everybody wants to say that. Tracy, come out so we can see you. We have one that's missing between these two, who is married to a Spanish girl from Sevilla, Spain, and they are living in Spain. He's with the Navy, and we have a granddaughter, Alexandra Maria. This one is next in line. This is Carla, who just recently married this handsome gentleman, Stephen, and they live in South Dakota, just across the state line in South Dakota. Kenna is
Read the sign.
single.
We're still looking.
She's still on.
Call. It's not too late.
She says anyone that is not a blood relative, she's interested. She'll take them from 20
They can even be Norwegian.
She would consider a Norwegian. The rest of us may disown her, but she'd consider one. Okay. Kenna is just turned 21, so she is taking a year off from college, and she works in Dickinson, and we own a house there, and she keeps house for her 2 handsome brothers who are not married. And this is Corey. Both of the boys here are working working in the oil field, and they work all around home here. They work 12-hour shifts in the oil patch. It's hard work, and Corey had an injury last night.
Yeah, raise your shirt, Corey.
Next in line, we took a break there. We should have fit one in between Corey and Christy, but Dad said we should stop now, and I said no. So then we got it over, and Christy is going to be 15, as short as she is. She's about my smallest in the family now. She's going to be 15 in September, and she's just starting high school, so this year she'll move away from home and live in Dickinson with Kenna, Corey, Kelly, who knows? Tom is next in line, and he says his little sister Christy there. He is 13. He can look down on her head. Tom is going to finish school in Medora this year, and we drive the bus every day. And he will graduate, and then next year he'll move away from home. This is terrible. That's the disadvantage of living in the hills in North Dakota. Next year he'll move to Dickinson. Next in line is Darla Ann. She's our biological baby. She's the end of the line. For a while, and then she's 11. She's going to go into 6th grade, so she'll be with me for about 3 more years before she moves home. Then we got Tim and Pat, and Pat is the oldest. Pat, step around a little bit so they can get you on the camera. So Pat and Tim are going to live with us forever too. Pat is 7 years old, and Tim is 6 years old. They're just exactly a year apart. They were both born in January. And they both go to 1st grade this year. And they're going to be riding Mom's bus too. Donna was our guinea pig.
Norwegian.
Donna's Norwegian. But we
That's why we make Norwegian.
I think at this point we're a little outnumbered here, kids, so we better be real careful what we say. But Donna was our guinea pig. Donna was our first foster placement. And we have been foster parents for 20 years in that neighborhood now. And she was the one we learned all the good things on. And this is her son and our grandson, Matthew. And Matthew too is 7, so when we have these 3 little ones, it's a circus here. That's the crew.
Now, Kermit, didn't you have something to say about that artesian well?
I wonder if you got my best side.
You want to tell your artesian well story?
No,
Yes.
it's just that we drilled a new well, and that took care of our babies. We haven't got any, that was all of our problem all these years. It was the water. Since we had that new well, we've had no more children.
Very good.
A still picture, Kelly.
Squish better be still.
Yeah.
We can switch. The little ones move up front. Which one? The little one? The little one.
I'm done.
I'm sorry.
Anybody behind her? Oh, it's that cable really. Scott, I can barely get him in from here.
Say cheese, guys.
Cheesy boys.
I want a picture. Where's my suitcase?
You're all right.
We resemble that remark, you know?
Scott.
Why don't you introduce yourself first and then your children?
Okay. Hi, I'm Iris Biggs, second daughter of John Varney. This is my husband Jim, and I have a couple of my kids here. This is my youngest daughter Jamie. This is my oldest son Scott.
Oh, we'll go swing.
What else can I say?
Where in the family tree are you?
Gosh, I have no idea.
Second branch from the bottom.
Yeah.
Where do you live?
I live northwest of Rame, about 11 miles.
Mm-hmm.
That's about all I have to say.
Okay.
Is that enough, Marcella?
Well, no.
No, I think you ought to talk some more.
No. Here, we'll let
Did
somebody
you
else
say
talk.
you were John's daughter?
I did.
Okay, then I guess that's
That's
it.
what you asked where I wasn't.
Yeah.
I thought I'd fell off the branch.
You need to hold on closer when you talk.
Now she's done.
Good bunch of people, a good bunch of girls this farm.
Yes.
I haven't met all of you yet. Most of them are pretty good. You, I don't.
Shaky.
You said he had the top one.
I like the girls too.
You like the boys?
Yeah, I like the boys.
Good enough.
Where's Vera?
Two. Do her again. It's easier the second time. Same thing, same thing.
Okay, I'm Lyle Miller. I'm a cousin to the Varney girl, second cousin to the Varney girl. Their mother was my first cousin. Charlotte Marshall. Her sister was married to Aaron Varney. So that makes us related 2 or 3 ways here.
Shall we tell some more?
Where do you live?
Live in Bowman, North Dakota.
How long have you lived there?
4 years. Spent 10 years and a half out in Spokane and 42 years on the ranch in South Dakota.
Okay.
Next.
That's good.
Dad, Rick.
Rick. No, wait a minute. Where? Here he is. Here he is. I got him.
Oh, hey, you're guilty.
Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
Okay, I'm Vera Kruger. I'm John Varney's 4th daughter, just before Cassie and right after Jeannie. This is my family. I live at Beach with my husband Delbert. This is my daughter Chris. She's a sophomore, a junior in college at Minot, North Dakota. This is my daughter Sandy. She's our oldest. This is her husband Mike. This is our grandchild. This is my son David. He just got home, as you can see by the haircut, from Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. He is in the National Guard, and he is starting on his 6th year of college. Okay, going for a degree in English education.
Look this way.
Okay, my husband Delbert, and he is county road foreman at Beach, North Dakota, and that is my son Rick. Rick is the youngest boy, and he is in the Air Force in Germany, 5th year Air Force.
I'm the quiet one.
I'm the quiet one. This is all of us.
Now, do any of them have anything to say? Those quiet ones ought to talk.
Well, I think they're all very thankful they're Varneys.
Oh.
How about you, Mike? Are you thankful you're a Varney?
First got married, we didn't have any kids for 4 years. And then we found out what was wrong, and then we had 4 in 3 years. So that's why they're so close together. No, well didn't have anything to do with it. And right now, how old are they? I think Chris is 22, and Rick is 23, and Dave's 24, and Sandy 25. So that's the way it worked out, but Sandy and Dave are 6 months apart.
Boy, that's pretty good.
So anyway,
You beat the odds.
pardon?
You beat the odds.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been fun getting to know everybody. I just want to say that we've heard a lot about the Varneys from away. You know, like well, we knew Dick and Dwayne. We
Like
met
Lloyd's
them.
kids.
Yeah, Lloyd's kids, and we'd heard about Earl's kids, and John told us some stories about when they were little kids. How one time they were walking someplace and they didn't have ear flaps and their ears started to freeze. So Earl said, "Pound your ears." Being they were half froze already, you know, that pounding didn't do much for them. And so, but they had hard times. I mean, they didn't have a whole lot to eat. And Martha one time baked a chokecherry pie, and you guys all know what chokecherries are, but she didn't take the pits out of them. And so this guy came to dinner, and he crunched every one of the pits, you know, which was kind of nerve-wracking for anybody that was listening to it. But they did a lot of trapping and things like that. They had magpie wings at that time. There was a bounty on them, and coyotes. And John was a sheep man. He never did get over his hatred of a coyote, because the coyote would come in and kill like maybe 20 lambs and just leave them lay. And you know, they're pretty smart animal, a coyote is. So, and oh, they had a lot of fun times together. They used to pick on what the heck was the oldest one's name now? The girl. Can't even think of her name, but they make up little. No, not that one. No, not that wasn't the oldest one. It was the one that lived up at Thief River Falls. Ethel, yeah. And they called her a nickname. They called her, you know, something else, and really make her mad. And then when they had a class school play or something like that, well, the girls were just like girls are today. They're nervous, you know, and they'd be pulling their dress up like this, and then the boys would come home and they'd make fun of what she had said. Like one time they said all she said was hippity, hippity, hippity. And that's all they could understand. And then they had a teacher boarding with them one time, and they found her mail that she had written to her boyfriend, you know, and then they read it, and one of the things was pity me eeny, for I need the good wishes of all. And so every time they saw her, well, they'd say pity me eeny. And so that's how they are sometimes. It's fun getting to know every one of you, know, and I'm glad that everybody could come, you know, because as we get older, you know, from year to year, you know, you don't know if you're going to break a leg or have an operation or what, you know, and so, and it's always been, from the time Kermit and Cassie moved out here, it's always been fun to come out. Being our kids are double cousins, you know, they've always looked forward. In a Bible camp, I accused them one time of saying that, well, I don't know why you go to the Bible camp for, because all you do is get with your cousins and raise heck, you know. Like one time they were picking at the girls in the girls' bunkhouse, and the girls didn't know it right away, but when they found out, they let out such screeches that the boys took off and ran over the hill. And I didn't find this out until they were big kids. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming. You know, I just really appreciate every one of you.
Start over there, I'll go down the fence.
Anytime.
Okay, I'm Eloise Narvison.
It's not on.
It's up. You got it.
Broadcast the whole damn thing.
Oh boy.
I'll sing.
Okay. Hello, I'm Eloise Narvison. I'm the daughter of Everett Coates, who is the son of Lily Varney Coates. Standing next to me is my husband Roger. Next to Roger is Cassandra Novotny. Haley is our baby. Sheldon is our oldest. He's the next. Standing next to Sheldon is his girlfriend, Cheryl Novotny, who is the mother to Cassandra. And standing next to Cheryl is Tyler. And we have a son also who is in the middle of the Mediterranean, headed to Rota, Spain right now. He's in the Marines. Thank you.
And where you live?
We live in Dickinson, North Dakota.
And what do you do?
I'm the boss to all these people. And I'm also their slave. Roger drives truck for Weast Trucking out of Jamestown, North Dakota. Haley is a freshman in high school. Oh, a sophomore, I forgot. Sheldon is going to start college Monday.
Great.
Cheryl works at the Dickinson Nursing Home in the kitchen. And Tyler is going to be a junior in high school. And the two boys both are into rodeoing. They love horses. Sheldon is a bareback rider, and Sheldon is the bareback rider. Tyler he's going to try team roping, I guess.
Oh, that's great. Oh, now, does any of you others have something to say? How about your husband?
No, we can't put him on.
Sure.
The reason I got a truck from Jamestown, that's in Sanitaria. So
this
when
way.
she gets to driving me too much, I can just check in there. It makes it handy for me.
Where's that little one that wanted to talk?
That goes with Wanda. Me.
Oh. Okay.
You guys wait, you just lost your kids. Yeah? Okay.
There.
Well, we're gonna do it. Bertol, and my age is 9, and my favorite hobby to do is cartooning.
Alright.
This is my mother, Wanda Bell Bertol, Matthew David Bertol, and Chris David Bertol. You wait your turn.
You know who's the boss there.
No. Our dad is in Minot. He's playing for his band. Davey be in the Sonics. Too bad he's not bringing anything. Wait.
You got something more to say? Oh,
Yeah.
good.
I have a sister, Tracy. She just got married to her boyfriend, Craig. And her age is 23. And Craig is 24.
Can I just add real quick, then you can I gotta tell my
Okay.
Yes, my name is Wanda.
You hold it sideways.
Pardon me?
Hold it sideways.
Yeah, hold it in
Bertol.
front of you.
Wanda Bertol. My dad is Everett, who was Lily Bell Varney's oldest son. And we live in Moorhead, Minnesota, which is right across the North Dakota border, right over the Red River there. Have lived there for quite a few years now. We have a music store, Beehive Music, and then David has the band. John told you that Chris is 14, has lots of, no I didn't, has lots of interest in music and girls, and looking forward to getting his driver's license. Matthew is 7 and is acting shy, but actually he's the least shy of the group that I have. So, was there anything else you needed to know?
Well, we'd like to know all the secrets.
All the secrets.
Right, right.
We hardly stay home.
Oh, where do you go?
Shopping.
Traveling?
Hardly no toys.
And of the 9 kids, John was my dad. And this is my son, John. I'm Almeda. This is my son, John. This is Eldon, my husband.
Eldon, turn this way, please.
And I have a daughter, Shem, and 2 grandsons. Jay is 13, Randy's 10, and a son-in-law, Dwight Iverson. And they may come tomorrow if we can twist their arm. I guess we live, I grew up 14 miles southwest of Rame. Now I live 32 miles north of Rame. And I live on the homestead that my father-in-law moved on, and I grew up on the homestead where my grandma started. Okay.
You mean the cat got your tongue? You're doing this flip?
I cannot believe it.
Well, come on.
The Iris's turn, Lynn.
Come on, you have to say something.
You say you like
Oh, they know that.
Well, we want the Varney girls.
Yeah, get
Right next to Jeannie's, of course. Get the better look of my legs. Well, I guess somebody has to be the oldest, and I'm Almeda Varney Wolfgram.
Hold up a little bit. No, this way? Yeah, right.
Should I say it again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I guess somebody has to be the oldest of the family, and I'm Almeda Varney Wolfgram.
How old?
I'm 58 years
years old. I already told you yesterday who I was. Iris Varney Biggs.
We're all old, Alzheimer's disease here.
I'm Jean Bucall. My husband isn't here today. He's playing in a golf tournament. But my son and 3 grandsons and a daughter-in-law are here. And I'm from Bowman, North Dakota. And I'm 55 years old. And I'm John Varney's 3rd daughter.
And I'm not telling my age, but I'm Vera Kruger. I think you've all got us all on tape, but I am Cassie. I'm the youngest, John Varney's daughter. And this is our ranch, so the pictures in the background are where I live.
Okay, now we want all of you to look. All right. This way.
Well, we're feeding flies over here. Or
that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be okay.
Then we want you to sing. Sing us a song.
Thank you.
Can I get... Yes.
Oh no, get back in the picture.
Get back in the picture. Oh, you started all this. Yeah. Oh boy, no.
Okay, this is the Biggs family. I'll start from your left to my right. This is Janelle, son of Shane. Oh, golly. Wife of Shane. This is Jordan. This is Riley. And this is Logan. We're pretty proud of that Logan because he was a little fella when he was born, 1 pound, 10 ounces he was down to. He was in the hospital for several months, but he's doing great. This is my better half and one of them little Varney girls. Jamie, of course, you all know here, you've seen her. That's our youngest daughter. This is Dawn, our middle daughter, we'll call her. This is Michael, that's her oldest son.
Very good, Shane.
Autumn.
This is Autumn, and this is Marshall. And that's about it, I guess.
Grandpa Jim on the floor.
Well, I couldn't have done all this without my wife.
Give credit due where credit's due.
And you're way nice.
I'm Jean Bucall, and this is my family. This is Doug. He's the oldest. Dallas. And that's Dallas's wife, Paula, and their little daughter, Caitlin. And this is Doug's sons, Christopher and Matthew. And Doug's wife, Laurel, didn't come today. And my husband is not here today. He's playing in a golf tournament. But these kids are from Earhart, Minnesota. And Doug lives in Bowman and works for the highway department.
What's that put us at? 4. Is that enough?
I guess, gee whiz, you know, this must be 20 or 30 years of history, and that's all?
5.
Okay.
We lost one.
Oh, Caitlin, come back. Okay, I want to correct. Doug works for the Highway Patrol, not the Highway Department.
It's a little different organization, isn't it?
That's right. And Larry and I were married in 1957, and we lived north of Rame until in 79 we moved near Bowman, where we live now. He ran a welding shop until about 5 years ago. He retired, and now he still does some machine work, but he's fairly much retired. I love my little grandkids, all 3 of them. Matthew here is 3, he's going to be 4 the 25th of September. Christopher is going to be 7 the 26th of January. And Caitlin is going to be 3 the 16th of January. And she's awful special because she's our only daughter, only blood girl. And Laurel is from Lemon, South Dakota. She's Doug's wife. And Paula was from Earhart, Minnesota. These kids were married in 1988, and Doug was married in 1985. Good, safe trip home, and especially we appreciate Cassie and Kermit having their plans. And thanks, everybody.
Invading my territory.
What's the score? 8-9. We're 8. Yeah, 8-9. Oh, they're working on us now.
All right, now you talk.
Well, I'm Carol Griggs.
This way.
I am Carol Griggs, and I am a daughter of Margie Egan, granddaughter of Lily Coates. This is my family. Oscar Griggs, my husband, Casey, my son, Jesse, my daughter, Clancy, and Oscar Jr. And we were married in 1968, November 25th.
What do you do? And where do you live?
Well, we live in Bowman now. We have bought Everett Coates' place in 1973.
You got one more boy or not?
Yeah, we have Clifford. He isn't here.
Oh, I know that.
And I guess I might as well tell you, we're our grandparents of 4 days ago.
Oh! Right.
I said, give it to Oscar now. Let Oscar talk.
Now you tell your story.
No.
How old did you talk?
We're right up there.
Yeah,
Let's listen.
Yeah, Jack of all trades and a master of none.
How about you, Clancy? You're pretty happy. Yeah, talk, Clancy. Give him a laugh. Oh, yeah, good. Yeah. Hey, thanks, lover boy.
When people stop hanging around.
Okay.
Okay.
Hey, bro! Stand in front of your mom and dad.
Look at me here, April.
Go ahead. He's ready.
I'll let her do the talking.
I guess I have to do the talking today. I am Tina Egan. My husband is Jack Egan, and he is Margie Coates' son. And Margie Coates is Lily Coates, Varney's daughter. I think I got that right.
Keep her back there.
Sister. And we have 2 children. One is Douglas, and the other one is April. And we were married in Graham, North Dakota on June 1st, 1985. And we live in Dickinson, North Dakota right now.
Oh, and what do you do?
I'm at home, and Jack works for the oil service.
Oh, okay. Good.
Donald Egan, Jack, and Carol's dad played
He plays the violin, banjo, accordion, mandolin, guitar, mandolin,
and guitar and mandolin. But the other day, what was it, this last winter we were talking about it, and he said that he can't remember how to play any of them because we asked him if he'd still play, but he still does have tapes of when he did play and when he taught some of the other children to play.
And who was that?
Donald Egan, Jack, and Carol's dad, Margie's husband.
Yeah, that's what I want. Enjoyed it so much.
And we couldn't have picked a better time to change it.
Oh, isn't that something?
I just thought, oh,
Your little guy's getting awful good. Do you want him to do that?
That isn't mine.
Oh,
mine.
It's her.
You tell me who that is.
Okay, this is Margie.
Margie who?
Egan Coates Varney.
I don't know.
She
Okay.
is Lily Varney's daughter.
The little guy getting all that.
And that's her husband?
Donald.
Okay, and who is that
This
with?
is their son Jack. Jack's son Douglas and daughter April. And it was taken November of '91 at Donald and Margie's farm.
Oh, great, thank you.
But
Let me get everything picked up.
Coates,
I'll call him in.
Egan's children. This is some of them. This is Jack, Carol, Peggy,
a hard time getting that one.
Peggy, Linda. Linda's husband was in the picture, and then Ronald. And Ronald is the oldest. No, Peggy or Carol's the oldest, and then is Rhonda. And missing is Elda, Dale Ray, Connie, Gail, and Rex. And Neil, who died in infancy.
That's our host and hostess right there. Cassie and Kermit. That's Marcella's son. Marcella next to him. That's Kermit's son with the hat on back there. And that's one of their foster daughters sitting next to him on the right. There's Tony and there's Connie.
We couldn't hear you. Couldn't hear him.
Just because you think you're so hot, just because you think you got something that nobody else has got. You cause me to spend all my money. You laugh and call me old Santa Claus. Well, I'm telling you, baby, I'm through with you because, just because. Won't you dressed up for the dance. Oh, white sports coat and a pink carnation. I'm all dressed up for romance. What she told me long ago, to the prom with me you'd go. Now you change your mind, it seems. Someone else will hold my dreams. A white sports coat and a pink carnation. I'm in a blue, blue mood. Oh, white sports coat and a pink carnation. I'm all dressed up for the dance. Oh, white sports coat and a pink carnation. I'm all dressed up for romance. What she told me long ago, to the prom with me you'd go. Now you change your mind, it seems. Someone else will hold my dreams. A white sports coat and a pink carnation. I'm in a blue, blue. Did somebody else like to come up here and sing?
Dolores, you're wanted. Well, I proved that you know, straight down.
Like this?
Just a little bitty sit.
Tonight I'm burning all of letters, photo snaps and memories of you. Into the fire those dreams you shattered, and when the smoke is gone I won't want you. But teardrops fall while I am, oh, burning all those memories of you that I can't lose. To you, my love no longer matters.
What noise?
Well, I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I've overlooked before. One leaf is sunshine, the second is rain. Third is the roses that grow in the lane. No need explaining, the one remaining is somebody I adore. Yes, I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I've overlooked before. Well, 5'2", eyes are blue. Oh, what them 5'2" has anybody seen my gal? Turned up nose, roll down hose. Oh my gosh, she's one of those. Has anybody seen my gal? Well, if you run into 5'2" covered with fur, diamond rings all over him, but your life it isn't her. Well, could you has anybody seen my gal? Well, I'm looking over that I've overlooked before. One leaf is sunshine, the second is rain. Third is the roses that grow in the rain. No need explaining, the one remaining is somebody I adore. Yes, I'm looking over a four-leaf clover that I've overlooked before. One more time, that I've overlooked before.
No, I didn't know where anybody was. They're here, but I hadn't just. Okay. Yeah, I kind of walked in here. Come on, darling. Come on. We'll do it again later. I am back.
I get the blues when it rains. The blues I can't lose when it rains. The pain always reminds me of the days I said in vain. I couldn't wait for the sun to shine down on me once again. I found you, good rain, when I lost you. That's why I'm so blue when it rains. I get the blues.
Kruger Ranch. This is the house and the ranch. Big country out here. The panoramic view. This is where they're going to have a square dance tonight. back to the bus where we're going to take off at.
He's getting scared.
No,
Oh, I ain't going out.
This here is what would
Hey,
make quite
please stay in the bus.
quite a picture.
I'm making a picture. In case it starts taking off.
Oh.
Don't step on
Yeah,
that
it's
loose ground there, Clayton. That's
I
well,
died.
there's a cedar tree down there.
You don't want to go out either, do you?
Yeah, I'll go out.
I get some oil.
I wanted to take.
Be careful with your finger, you're almost on it.
How deep do you have to go down for oil here?
These are around, all around 12,000. But these are all horizontal. They go down.
Wow. Where is your land? Where's the house? Right down there.
The white building is the trailer.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, now I see it. This is unbelievable.
That's the house down there.
Float me out over there and look down. I feel all right.
This is our hay bottom down here. I got somebody, a neighbor is bailing.
Should I take a couple cards?
Yeah. Get it from different angles if I plan on painting this.
But see, over here even, you know, if you look at any map of North Dakota,
This is
any,
Bill down here?
you go north of Medora and there'll be 2 horseshoe bends. We live on the first one. You can see the water is on 3 sides of us.
I'd like to get the depth of that.
Did Missouri get wild?
Close the door, will you, Tony? Or just push it. Watch it.
Wait, I'll get out of here.
Just where the water runs north here yet, then?
Yep. Yep. Yes? Yes, it is.
Quite a view from up here.
Oh my God. I can see what his dead end ahead. No place to go?
There's Tony.
No place to go. Dead end.
That's nature.
This is one heck of a view up here, you guys.
I mean, this is, you won't find anything in the park.
Wow. Look at the other side too, honey.
I will, so I'm not getting a view of this here.
That's my,
The lights on?
I don't want anybody to be scared because I wouldn't go anywhere that.
This is Kermit's winter pasture here.
And he was looking at me.
That's about where we were taking the last set of pictures.
If you would just remember this, you can go 70 miles. But because all these I wouldn't have it.
Huh?
They usually come in from over here. They go on down. Then they'll get down in these grassy knobs.
Don't they ever get lost?
No, they'll stay down. Eventually they would come out, but you can't check the calf to see if the calf is on. So when you go down and check, you usually...
You lose them to wild animals?
Not very often. Once in a while a coyote will get one. We haven't lost a coyote in quite a number of years. We have a neighbor that lives right under the hill here on the other side of the river, of course.
I was getting you $25 worth.
Is this your winter pasture here?
Yeah, this is part of it.
Part of your winter pasture.
Where are your cattle now? I'm
Are they out in here?
The horses we're going to go, our yearlings are in the other winter pasture.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's picking up.
The more voices we hear, the better.
This world, I've never eaten anything so good, especially when it comes from the neighbor's cows. It's been delicious. The Kruger girls all know how to cook, and some of these boys that has these girlfriends, they're fantastic cooks. They make the best, what do you call those cinnamon rolls? Caramel rolls for breakfast. We've just had a grand time here, and I hope we can keep this up. We can all keep in contact with one another. At least some of us should stay together to write and keep this thing going a little bit. And we ought to be thinking about someone doing this next year, or at least every 2 years doing it. I think that it's a great thing that Cassie has done, and I'm sure her sisters must have helped along with this. And I want to thank them all. Maybe they need a hand. Okay, where's that Vera now? We got to run through her.
Right there, Marcel.
You barely got started.
And I were raising Jamie and that, Melody in that sheep wagon. We had to band the sheep. Cassie was going to babysit Jamie at the main house. I mean Melody. So we were out with the sheep, and I was out with the horse out there, and Cassie was babysitting. All of a sudden we looked up, and here come Cassie footing it across the prairie, and left Melody, a little baby, in the house by herself because she's seen a mouse. End of story.
John was probably 12 years old at this time, and a lady rode up one day on a work horse, and it was kind of a hot day, and she had I don't know what kind of a dress on, I guess just a plain work dress, and when she went to get back up on the horse, John's mother, I think her name was Martha, if I remember right, and she said, "John, why don't you give her a hand?" So to be a gentleman like he should have been, you know. Okay, there we go. Got it right this time. He locked his hands together with his fingers interlaced, and she stepped up on it, and when he gave her a little boost, he gave her too much of a boost, and her foot slipped and came down between his locked hands and her thigh and everything. And she laid on the ground with her leg up in the air, and she said something to the effect like this: "Goodness gosh, Godness Agnes." That's all she could think of. And John was so embarrassed he couldn't unlock his fingers because the full weight of her leg was on his fingers.
There's probably 95% of you I've never met, and it's been a real pleasure. I'd like to thank Krugers for the hard work and the meals and all the extra work we put them to, and the hospitality. And that's about it.
Hear, hear.
Why don't you give us a speech? You've been talking all day. She's already been speeching. All day. Too much yet.
Say something. From Oscar. Come on, Oscar.
No, I have nothing to say.
No.
Well, okay, I have something to say, don't I always? Okay, I can remember when I was 12 and my sister Thelma was 11. My mother and father let us come out and visit John Varney back in like 1934. And we came out for probably 2 months and stayed. And we were kind of city girls, you know, from the big city of like 100 people in Darby, Montana or so. And we'd never been out in the country before. And we'd never seen a rattlesnake, as I had left North Dakota when I was about 5 years old. And so anyway, we got out here to Uncle John's and Aunt Eunice, and I think there must have been about
4 girls at this time. You know, John always thought he was going to have a boy, but it never happened. He had these 5 girls in the end. But we came out and we visited them, and the first thing that we had to do was go out into this potato field. And we carried this big bucket with kerosene in it. And you know, I never knew what a potato bug was. But here come the shaking of the bush and knocking these potato bugs into this big barrel of kerosene. And you know, you're 12 years old, you're not too big yet. But we did this, I don't know, it seemed like all day, but I suppose we didn't. They must have, you know, wouldn't abuse children to work 10 hours a day or anything like that. So the next thing that we had to do when we got that job done was they had those sheep. And they didn't have any sheep herder. So my sister and I, we went out into the field in the morning and we herded these sheep out, and then Uncle John would come out about noon and bring us some lunch, and then we'd head them back. Well, you know, there's rattlesnakes out there. And my father, when he was a young man, up on a little butte, he had carried a bunch of rocks up there, and he had built this Johnny, so he had told us about this, so we were going to go out to this Johnny and walk up there to see this Johnny that my dad had built. Well, we probably got from here to the house, and you could see these rattlesnakes all out there bathing all over this rock. Well, needless to say, we didn't go much further than that. And then, so we turned around and we came back and we herded these sheep back. But you know, you're walking with your feet up in the air, worrying about these rattlesnakes and running. And of course, Uncle John, he knew how to kill these things. And he said, well, you girls, all you have to do is take a stick about this long. You just carry it with you. And when that rattlesnake starts to strike, you just go and knock his head off. Well, no girl's going to do this when they see a rattlesnake. We just ran the other way. But you know, in the evening when we got back home, he would go out to show, look, he'd have us show him where this rattlesnake was, and he would find it, and he would kill it, just with that little stick. And so that was kind of our summer. And then we also went to Aunt Lily's. She lived there, and not too far from Grandma's, because Uncle John lived in Grandma's place. But she had an ice house, and guess what they made with ice? Ice cream. And was that great? She'd bake up this chocolate cake with caramel frosting on it and make this ice cream that, now what kid would think they were in heaven, wouldn't they? And we loved to go there because Grandma was a little frugal. The cream had to go to the creamery. The eggs had to go to the farmer, in town. So we didn't get much eggs and cream at Uncle John's or Grandma's, but we'd go to Aunt Lily's, and oh boy, we'd have that ice cream. And Lyle and Everett was a little more older than John's girls at that time, so we got to ride horses and go swimming down the river. It wasn't all work, but sometimes it was too. And so that was my summer in probably 1934, somewhere in there. And that's probably the most I remember about the Varneys. We never came back then until I was married, and we had 4 kids, and we came back like about 1962. Well, I'd forgotten a lot then, and this is a grand thing, I think, that's going on here to keep this circle of chain going, to know one another. And that's very important for families, to know each other and some of your blood relatives, no matter who they are.
That's it.
We got sisters on, nothing is left out. I could tell a lot of things on them, but they're all nice sisters, and we'll leave you with that. Devon, you want to go and say something?
No. Elmina's the oldest. Let her talk.
Now there she gets with her tongue.
That thing makes everybody tongue-tied.
But I really, as far as a storyteller, I remember stories while I tell them, and I forget them.
Well, how do you remember John and Lloyd and all the Varney boys?
I remember John real good. I had an Uncle Ray, and John Varney had ways like him, a regular devil. And Lloyd was a little bit quiet.
Huh?
Well, when he come over to our place, he did, and Aaron was quiet. But I tell you what, Lloyd's daughter don't take after him. I didn't mention your name.
You the only daughter?
That's the only time I've ever heard anybody say that Lloyd was, you know, first time I ever heard Lloyd was quiet. First time I heard that too. Yeah.
Olita, Viola, which has passed away, but there's Leela, Almeida, Frida, Martha Allen, Dolores, Levon, Luella, Eva, and Ovidia. So I'm damn lucky to get as big as I did and last as long as I have, right? They would pull more mean tricks on me than anybody I know. Now I hope one of them will come forward.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
One little Mexican cat.
I may be the youngest, but I gotta tell you something. That man had the shiniest shoes when he was young that there ever was on earth. And I did it all for a nickel. So and I do want to thank Kermit and Cassie and all of you for having such a good time out here. I do have to tell you a little story about the first time we came out here. Now, I had never met Kermit and Cassie. You know, I knew who they were. Well, I take that back. I had met Cassie when she was back in Minnesota. So we came out here with a fold-down camper. And Vera took us across every Score-Eagle country road, and we had dust, you know, like about 3 feet deep in this fold-down camper. And we were out here, and we'd set it right out there on the other side of the fence, and in come Kermit from Haying. I had never met Kermit, and he walks in, and he goes, I'll never forget, because the first thing he said was, well, you're going to stay for 2 weeks, aren't you? Another thing...
Probably had some haying to do.
No, it was just plain old good hospitality.
Yay!
But we were out here. My daughter worked in Medora. Our oldest daughter worked in Medora, North Dakota. And two of my sisters, Viola and Almeida, and Richard, my brother Richard and I came out, and we were in Deadwood, South Dakota. And we went into this restaurant to eat. And we sat there, and all of a sudden, you know, I thought, go, something's in my pant leg. And I kind of thought it might be my purse handle, so I moved my foot. All of a sudden, I could feel these little feet going up my leg. So I reached down and I shook my pant leg, and out came this little mouse.
Oh, no.
And he scurried across the floor, and about that time, Almeida goes, look at that mouse! He was in your pant leg! She goes, well, why didn't you scream? And we laughed so hard about this little mouse, because it was very bewildered. It ran all over the restaurant. That I'm sure we made spectacles of ourselves laughing so hard. But we happened to have a lawyer in Spring Valley, and my brother Richard always thought I should have went and sued, and his name happens to be Mouse. But the manager was very upset, or very embarrassed, but he never did come and say he was sorry or anything else. It was kind of funny, but everybody said, well, why didn't you scream? And that wouldn't have done it, but had it been a salamander or a lizard or whatever you call them, there would have been a new door in that restaurant, I'll tell you that much. A mouse I can handle. But thanks again, and who wants this next?
I do. I got one more thing.
Uh-oh. About me?
No.
They always say that. She'll be back. Cassie, do you really have a sister, Almeida?
You know, I think I do, and she might be here tomorrow morning. She tells us.
Vera, do you have a sister, Almeida?
Tell you one thing, when she comes, you'll know her.
Yeah.
You know, I think you're a good bunch of girls, but I'll lay tonight wondering if you're telling the truth or not.
And then we found out what was wrong, and then we had 4 in 3 years. So that's why they're so close together. No, Noel didn't have anything to do with it. And right now, how old are they? I think Chris is 22, and Rick is 23, and Dave's 24, and Sandy 25. So that's the way it worked out, but Sandy and Dave are 6 months apart.
Boy, that's pretty good.
So anyway,
You beat the odds.
pardon?
You beat the odds.
Yeah. But anyway, it's been fun getting to know everybody. I just want to say that we've heard a lot about the Varneys from away. You know, like well, we knew Dick and Dwayne. We met them.
Kids.
Yeah, Lloyd's kids, and we'd heard about Earl's kids, and John told us some stories about when they were little kids. How one time they were walking someplace and they didn't have ear flaps and their ears started to freeze, so Earl said, "Pound your ears." Being they were half froze already, you know, that pounding didn't do much for them. And so, but they had hard times. I mean, they didn't have a whole lot to eat. And Martha one time baked a chokecherry pie, and you guys all know what chokecherries are, but she didn't take the pits out of them. And so this guy came to dinner and he crunched every one of the pits, you know, which was kind of nerve-wracking for anybody that was listening to it. But they did a lot of trapping and things like that. They had magpie wings at that time. There was a bounty on them, and coyotes. And John was a sheep man. He never did get over his hatred of a coyote, because a coyote would come in and kill like maybe 20 lambs and just leave them lay. And you know, they're pretty smart animal, a coyote is. So, and oh, they had a lot of fun times together. They used to pick on what the heck was the oldest one's name now? The girl. Can't even think of her name, but they'd make up little. No, not that one. No, not that wasn't the oldest one. It was the one that lived up at Thief River Falls. Ethel, yeah. And they called her a nickname. They called her, you know, something else, and really make her mad. And then when they had a class school play or something like that, well, the girls were just like girls are today. They're nervous, you know, and they'd be pulling their dress up like this, and then the boys would come home and they'd make fun of what she had said. Like one time they said all she said was "hippity, hippity, hippity," and that's all they could understand. And then they had a teacher boarding with them one time, and they found her mail that she had written to her boyfriend, you know, and then they read it, and one of the things was "Pity me eeny, for I need the good wishes of all." And so every time they saw her, well, they'd say "Pity me eeny," and so that's how they are sometimes. It's fun getting to know every one of you, know, and I'm glad that everybody could come, you know, because as we get older, you know, from year to year, you know, you don't know if you're going to break a leg or have an operation or what, you know, and so, and it's always been, from the time Kermit and Cassie moved out here, it's always been fun to come out. Being our kids are double cousins, you know, they've always looked forward. In a Bible camp, I accused them one time of saying that, well, I don't know why you go to the Bible camp for, because all you do is get with your cousins and raise heck, you know. Like one time they were picking at the girls in the girls' bunkhouse, and the girls didn't know it right away, but when they found out, they let out such screeches that the boys took off and ran over the hill. And I didn't find this out until they were big kids. But anyway, thanks everybody for coming. You know, I just really appreciate every one of you.
Start over there, I'll go down the fence.
Her sister, and Aaron was going to bring back a load of vegetables in an old truck. Had cushions on top of the gas tank and everything in the cab, and every station he'd come through, he'd have to put in $2 worth of gas. And wife finally said, "For Christ's sake, Aaron, why don't you fill this up so we wouldn't have to get out at every station?" So she finally filled it up then. They got the baker and he dropped something. He thought a penny in the scoria along the gas pumps. And he dug and he said, well, if that is a penny, I'd let it go, but by gullies, it might be a dime. So he started digging again. So now it's Oscar's turn.
Well, I guess we'll have to do this, but what do you gotta have?
Closer to your mouth.
Oh, you want closer? Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Anyhow, John Varney grew to be a great friend of mine. And we put in potatoes at my place, and so John come on real early one morning and was going to hoe these potatoes. So I could get ahead of him. I'd hoe faster than he did. And he said, well, we stopped for a drink of water. And he said, well, if I can hoe potatoes with you, he said, you can shoot Copenhagen with me. So I had to take a chew with John. I thought I could spit it out real quick and make it, but I didn't. He was watching me too close. So I got down the road a little ways and I spit it out. I got down the road a little ways further and I got down on my hands and knees and throwed it out.
Didn't believe it. No, that's just some kind of reflex. And sure enough, we were right.
Eva, smile. He's aiming that one. Yeah, but it takes more than just that.
The thing in the back got the sweater on.
I remembered it.
You can't go yet.
Well, when the driver's through.
Just sit down.
There's more than one.
Uh-oh.
That's better.